interviewing is funky. Like, it can be weird for sure. You're talking to someone you don't know at all, and you're trying to impress them. And it's just maybe like an interesting dynamic, but again, people just want to see you as a person and be able to know that you're going to be a good fit and mesh well with their team. So I think that's a good point too.
I see.
Again, what's the worst someone's going to say?
Yeah.
No.
But you don't lose anything.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Almost
no
you
harm,
gain.
no foul. Yeah, exactly.
Just looking back a year ago, this is the time you applied the job for the Seattle Mariners and went through the interviewing process, and actually you got the job. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So would you mind walking through the process for us? What is the application process is like?
Yeah. So there's a few different websites that I think people can apply through. I went, it's not an advertisement or anything like that, but I went through Teamwork. And they have some different sports types of applications and jobs available. And so I saw the job there. I just kind of applied on whim. I didn't really have any expectations to come out of it, but just applied. I think it was pretty general in terms of the initial application. I think it was resume and maybe a CV, answer some questions, things like that. And then I think about a month or two later, I got a call from our director of rehab. And I did like a little interview with him. Again, kind of going back to what we were talking about, just getting to know people and be, just comfortable with you as a human. So I think that was kind of our first interview. It was nothing about PT. It was purely just, tell me about you, what do you do for fun, that kind of thing. And so he said, you sound like a cool guy. I want you to talk to yeah, right. Yeah. I want you to talk to our director of high performance, which is the next kind of stage up. And so I had an interview with him. Same thing. Like, I expected him to kind of grill me a little bit with questions and stuff, but it was just trying to get to know me as a person. And it was not really, it was nothing specific about baseball or PT or anything like that. Just, general interest questions, just getting to know me as a person. And then from there, I interviewed then with one of the other PTs on the staff. And so he, again, was just trying to get to know me. So again, a common theme, right? It's just, again, can you be a person?
It's a culture.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because ultimately you're going to be working with these people. So they want to be able to know, one, obviously, can you do your job? But two, like, can I sit at a desk next to you and have a conversation with you outside of what's happening on our computer or out on the field, And so I thought it was cool again, and then again, it's just a small world. Started talking to him, and then we had family members in the same small town in Montana, and so yeah, it was crazy. It was just like, oh my gosh, I just met you, but yeah, our family lives like down the street from each other. So then from there, then it went back to the director of rehab, and then that's when we got a little bit more into the nitty gritty of some different, situational types of things. There was never any like come and demonstrate your skills or anything like that. It was more so, like, you have an athlete that has X, Y, and Z issue. How would you go to the team physician or, whatever. And so then we got a little bit more into those situational types of questions. And then after that, I got offered the job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Austin, would you say your clinical internship and also the first couple years working as a PT in orthopedic sports medicine setting really helped you to be able to apply and get actually the job?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, being able to get with the Fisher Institute, now known as Spooner Sports Institute, was a huge thing for me, just because it was that kind of next bridge between like a typical outpatient orthopedic type of setting and like a team setting, because we do have, like I said, that integrated mix of also having strength and conditioning there as well. And I think teams saw that and understood and kind of know the name around that, and so that kind of helped set me up. And I think too, the big thing is, again, like I kind of talked about earlier, is in that patient's time period where you're kind of waiting for that next opportunity to come, is what can you do for yourself to set yourself up to be in the best possible position, right? So, I always kind of preach that, the best investment is in yourself, so I had 3 years basically to get as many types of certifications as I had within reason, not spending thousands of dollars, but important things like not just going to any weekend Con Ed course, getting things like dry needling and functional release and things like that. I think were all important parts in my development as a PT, but it also helped set me up for success. I think when my time came for a position, and they saw all that, and they're like, oh wow, this actually is a lot of the stuff that we see and use in our day to day, and you already got it, and so here's the job.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
What about for those who unfortunately didn't get the clinical internship at the more sports medicine specific place or first job as a sports medicine PT? What would you suggest them to take the next step to get ready to apply for those positions in major league or any professional sports organization?
Yeah, that's a good question. To me, I feel like the biggest thing, right, is don't be afraid to just ask. What is the worst that you're ever going to get, right? No, or get out of my office,
Right.
And at that point, I mean, maybe it's not meant to be in that exact moment, but maybe in the future, there is a spot that opens up or another opportunity, and that person remembers you, from trying to be proactive and trying to get in there and stuff like that. And even if it is volunteering or shadowing or anything like that in another type of setting outside of your normal clinical hours, that might be what it takes, in order to gain that experience. Because I do know that when you're applying to a professional sports organization, they do want to see that you have at least been around some sort of team setting, right? Not to say that it's impossible by any means, but again, it's just going to set you up. It's going to put you in a better position. It's going to set you maybe a step or a bar higher than the person next to you also applying.
I see, that's good. So even those who didn't have sports medicine background, but who has the strong desire to be, to work eventually in that setting, sounds like you would encourage them to even apply for that, position. Then even like interview process, maybe you can learn so much from those experts who are interviewing you.
Yeah. Then
maybe getting their knowledge, suggestion into the action. Maybe next time you can show up with, this is how much I have done. It's still if not enough. What else we can do?
Yeah.
That kind of showing that your dedication and relentless.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
Relentless.
Yeah, I can say it. But so that having that, I think that actually action itself is gonna actually speak volume.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great piece of advice too. Even if you don't feel like you're gonna be the most suitable and perfect match for a job at that time, I think it is very worth it just to apply and go through the process. That way, when the time is right, you've gone through it, you have some experience, maybe you've interviewed, maybe you've answered some questions and kind of sat in that kind of environment and actually subjected yourself to those types of maybe awkward situations of getting put on the spot or just being able to talk like a human. I think interviewing is funky. Like, it can be weird for sure. You're talking to someone you don't know at all and you're trying to impress them. And it's just maybe like an interesting dynamic, but again, people just want to see you as a person and be able to know that you're going to be a good fit and mesh well with their team. So I think that's a good point too.
I see.
Again, what's the worst someone's going to say?
Yeah.
No.
Or you don't lose anything.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Almost
no
you
harm,
gain.
no foul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. Absolutely
So
gain.
almost like listening, to your stories. This is my takeaway. Don't wait for the perfect time to apply. Don't wait perfect time to make some actions. Just start making some actions. Then make that action become your learning opportunity. Then actually learn. Then take it from it. Then apply for next action. Sounds like that is kind of creating your self kind of stairs or ladder or pathway to go to the next step.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
totally
that's
agree.
awesome. Yeah, so those who has strong passion to do something, doesn't have to be working for the sports, professional sports organization. Don't wait. Make some actions. And nothing to lose. Reality is opposite. actually when you try something, you learn, you gain more. That was very inspiring and encouraging. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I need to hear that for myself too. So now you completed first year working as a physical therapist for Mariners. Would you mind giving us some overview of your entire year work? Was it like? So that those who wants to work in the environment but don't know what it's like, if you can show us, that'd be great.
So I think with, again, I'll speak just specifically to baseball. Baseball, I think there's kind of two routes for PTs specifically, right? So obviously there's the big one, so Major League PT. So you're with the team wherever the city is. So for us, it would be in Seattle. I was not that position. The other route is more through the rehab route. And so that's where I was. So I was solely with rehab and return to play. And so with that, and I don't know, I think every other organization is roughly about the same, but every team has a spring training facility either in Florida or Arizona. And so for us, we're in Northwest Phoenix, Arizona, in Peoria. And so we do all of our rehab and return to play out of the complex there. And so anytime that anyone gets hurt, that's going to keep them out, I don't know, we roughly say around 3 weeks. It's kind of case by case, but if it's going to keep you out more than 3 weeks or more, usually that you'll get sent down to Phoenix, we'll rehab you, you'll get the focus care that you need, get you back to play. And then obviously we have like the rookie ball league down here, so then you can actually get back into games down here and stuff like that, get comfortable, assess, make sure you're all good, and then we send you back. And so I think those are the two main routes with baseball. But like I said, that's kind of where I am. I'm solely in Phoenix, and I'm just working with guys coming down here throughout the year.
That's awesome. Also, what is your day-to-day work schedule like during spring training, also during the regular season?
Yeah. So I kind of almost divided up into 3 different work schedules throughout the year, right? So the big one being spring training, right? So that's like half of February and the month of March, where basically you work every single day. Spring training goes every single day, and you're trying to get guys as healthy, as comfortable, as ready as you can to then go out and play the next 5 months of baseball. And so, like I said, you work every single day. Those days are usually probably roughly around 7 to 5-ish or so. But if you're with the actual big league squad, then you're probably there later. You're probably there till midnight or so, just depending on game time and stuff, because spring training games are either usually like 1 o'clock or 7 o'clock or something like that. So that's kind of the month of March. And then once everybody breaks camp and heads to their respective affiliate, then I kind of have like my in-season schedule. So then now we drop down, we have Sundays off. So then now we're Monday through Saturday. And those days, it kind of just depends on the flow. The flow kind of depends on how many people we have in rehab. And so every day we usually start around 7:30. And then guys start to kind of trickle into the training room around 8. Do whatever type of pre-activity prep work kind of for an hour, hour and a half. So around 9:30, we then go out to the field. Guys will throw, hit, run the bases, condition, hit in the cages, whatever baseball specific activities need to be done, that's when that gets done. And then once they do all that stuff, they'll go back into the weight room. So then weight room usually happens around 10:30, 11-ish, again, depending on how much an individual needs to do out on the field. And then they'll work out. Then after their workout, they'll come back into the training room. They'll check in with us. Everyone usually has some sort of, PT type of exercises to also complete on top of their workout. And then most of the guys kind of finish up on some sort of recovery modality. And then kind of rinse and repeat every single day and try to get guys back as soon as we can. So. And then I would say like the third part of our schedule is then the off season. So as soon as the big league squad's done and then all the affiliate teams are their season is completed, then we shift back to like an off season schedule. So then now we're 5 days a week. So mostly everybody else in the organization kind of gets off the off season. They work so hard during the in season part and are there and invested so much every single day that they then get some of they get the off season off. And so then, but with rehab, unfortunately, right, there's a lot of surgeries and injuries that are multi-month, or even like you look at a Tommy John that's 14 to 16 months kind of thing. There's always going to be someone in rehab. So rehab continues on through the off season, but we just shift to 5 days a week. So then we're more Monday through Friday, and that kind of similar day-to-day kind of schedule kind of maintains throughout the off season as well. It's just usually a little less guys.
Gotcha. Okay. What about in terms of plan of care? Are you assigned to take care of specific players, or almost like a team approach? Like someday this individual